Welcome to Winning on Wednesday. My name is Juan Vides, and I'm the founder of Winning on Wednesday. And the purpose, I always say, is simply to get to know each other. I always say people do business who they know, like, and trust. And knowing, like, and trusting, I'd like to introduce my longtime friend and Doug Goodstein. Hey, Doug, how are you?
Pleasure, Juan. We finally get to do this.
Exactly. It's
Wow.
been many years.
Long time coming.
Long time coming. Exactly. And thank you so much for really taking the busy time. I know you have a busy schedule. So quickly, just introduce the folks out there. Just give it the elevator pitch, as they say. Just really quick who you are, and then we'll get into the whole interview.
Yeah, sure. My name is Doug Goodstein. I now have a company called Dozgood Media. And my background, real quick, I'll give you the elevator pitch. Started 2 days out of college working for ABC News. Spent a few years there, wasn't happy in hard news at the network level. Looked for a job in entertainment, which I thought I'd enjoy more. I ended up at E! Entertainment Television at the Howard Stern Show. Spent 19 years there, so I must have been enjoying what I was doing. Went from E! to Howard TV, which was an in-demand. Then went and did a show called The Breakfast Club for a company called Revolt. And then after that, went into politics for the Lincoln Project. I'm messing up the order. And then I worked for Mark Levin producing his show. On the flip side of politics, Lincoln Project and Mark Levin are polar opposites. But I produced both those shows as the executive producer. Spent time with Mark Levin 4 years for Life, Liberty, and Levin, and also for Levin TV, which was the digital platform. Then went into corporate video during the pandemic because there wasn't really much going on. And I was actually doing a lot of charitable work. I was doing free videos for companies that were struggling during the pandemic, making them videos telling their message and trying to get them to survive by, whether it was curbside pickup or whatever it was, just to help them.
Right.
And it opened up the door to really more the corporate route. Worked for a few companies along the way there in more corporate video, doing corporate videos for big companies, IBM, Ernst & Young, Nokia, Shopify, big companies. And when that had a little shakeup at the last company I was at, I said, you know what, it's time for me to go completely on my own. And I did. And knock on wood, going very well right out of the gate, landed some huge clients in healthcare and other clients. The diversity of our clients right now is when we go from parking garages to healthcare systems to financial companies to it's just all over the map, charitable organizations.
We'll definitely get more into that.
Okay.
But just take us back, all the way back. Where did it all get started? Where were you born, Doug?
You cut me off, like if I.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You're on radio, so you don't worry. You're good. You're good.
Yeah. Just there's so much I've done. It's like it's hard to do the elevator.
It's okay.
An
Don't worry
elevator
about
pitch
it.
becomes a 100-story building. It's like shut the F up already. God.
It's all right.
So
tell us where did it all begin? So go ahead.
Yeah, I'll tighten it up. No, my story, how it began, whatever, is really interesting. I was living in Rockville Center, which is where I live now. There was a show called Good Morning America. You might have heard of it. And there I was about 10 years old, and this guy, Spencer Christian, who was he did human interest stories and the weather. And he was doing a story on Rockville Center Little League. And I was there. I didn't play, but my friends were on the team, and I just didn't even know there was going to be camera crews there. And I went and I saw this camera crew and this guy who I recognized from TV, and I just lit up. And this was like a thorn on his side for hours, and he embraced it. He was he really saw wow, come here, I'll show you the camera, I'll show you how this works, I'll show you what I do. And it was just that was the spark that lit the fire, right? That moment, I remember it so crystal clear. And I said, this is what I want to do. I was about 10 years old, and I pursued it and never looked back.
And never looked back. Wow, this is amazing. And during the time, do you have any role models or anybody that inspired you, or was it? I mean, this guy, obviously they showed you how to use inspirational, but you have other.
He at the time, he became the role model. I never stayed in touch with him. He wasn't like, here's my number, kid, call me. That would be weird. But I mean, it just lit fire that it just never went out.
Wow, wow. And over the years, so I mean, anybody that you like, that you wanted to become like, or did you inspire to you, or give you some
Yeah,
other
you know
motivation?
who really was amazing to me and still is Mark Cuban.
Oh
I
wow.
had a friend who worked for broadcast.com when Mark Cuban was just starting out in Dallas, Texas, in Deep Ellum. And he told me about this guy I'm working for. He said, Doug, this is the future TV over the internet. And I was like, what are you talking? That is absurd. What? No, that is, stop it. That's absurd. No one's going to watch TV on the internet or through a streaming, whatever you call it, whatever they called it back then. And he was like, yeah, I'm working for this guy, Mark Cuban. So I just got to, know a little bit about it. I met Mark a few times, nothing more than like, very quickly, but he was cool. But when I knew his story, I was like, this guy's a role model. He sees the future more than any person on earth, practically, and then like a few years later, he got bought by Yahoo, and the rest is history. Look at him now. But yeah, I always was like, God, that guy. Because I always go back to the
So
story when my friend first
I,
told me, and I thought he was crazy. I'm like, he knew. He
I'm
knew.
gonna show you something. I'm gonna do something I've never done before. You're
Oh boy.
breaking protocol, Doug. You're breaking
Uh-oh.
protocol. I'm gonna share a screen and I'm gonna
Okay.
share a picture of me and Mark Cuban.
Oh, cool.
I met him at CES, Consumer Electronics Show. He was
Yeah.
friends with Jeff Pulver, who was
Oh,
my,
that's awesome.
my old boss and my friend Jeff Pulver. So this is me. I was young, and I said the difference between me and here, a few billions, I would say.
Yeah.
A few billions. But like you said, he was a very nice guy, very nice
He's
gentleman. Is
yeah,
solid, yeah, solid
such a nice
individual.
guy.
Yeah, and the fact that he took the time to talk to me, and that was cool. So hey, Mark, what nice to see you if you see this. So
Yeah. Never forgot where he came from, that guy. That's
ex-
what you always get from him, just genuine.
exactly, exactly, and I love people like that. They're very sincere and genuine, and absolutely. So talk about this when you went to school. What did you go to school for? What was your like? I know, was it broadcasting or what was your degree
Yeah,
in?
I went to school at the University of Hartford and I studied communication and I wanted to be a journalist, and that's what I was studying. I was writing for the campus newspaper. I did when I could stories on video. It was a fledgling program when I was there. They didn't really have the video, the broadcast journalist program, but they had a TV studio that was just being built and or just got built. So it was very in its infancy. So I couldn't really exploit it to the max because even the professors weren't like totally up to speed on how it all worked and and how to teach the broadcast journalism program. But yeah, I did internships. That was my big thing. Internships.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
internships. Well, you get exposure that way and experience.
yeah. And I did very high profile stuff. I worked for the Geraldo Rivera show. I worked for WABC TV in New York, WNBC TV. And yeah, I mean, by the time I was ready to graduate, I was hired. Before I even got out of school, I had a job at ABC News.
And I know. So tell us about your first job. What was your first job out of college?
It was at the Democratic National Convention at Madison Square Garden in New York City in
Oh man,
1992.
right into right into the pool, like without
Yeah.
to learn how to swim, just right in there.
Yep.
Wow.
And then that was followed by the Republican one down in Houston, like a month later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well,
that's an experience.
and I mean, wow, that you were exposed to that, and also political. That's just wow.
Yeah. But
And
it's not even that I was exposed to ABC. I was in the broadcast booth with Peter Jennings, David Brinkley,
oh
Ted
my
Koppel,
goodness.
like not just like
Yeah, yeah,
a guy
yeah.
in the background. Like they threw me in the pit. Doug, sit in with. I was sitting like next to them. I was like this
Was it
22-year-old college grad frat boy, and I'm like, what is
Peter?
going on? This is
I,
crazy. And then yeah, they it was like really hands-on stuff, the union
wow.
stuff and restrictions, and I was freelance there, and it was a freelance job, but when I got hired at ABC right after that, I was in the unions, I was in NABIT.
Oh wow. And you got involved with that.
Yeah,
That's amazing. But Peter Jennings, that was you bringing it way back.
it was cool. Yeah, it was really
So,
cool.
at this segment, I like to call the golden nugget. It's just if there's any piece of information that you would like to leave behind that can help somebody, I call it the golden nugget. the golden nugget segment. So if there's any, any information you want to share with us that, that you learned over your career.
Yeah, the thing is just, and it's sounds very cliche, just don't give up. If you have a goal, if you have a dream, if you have aspirations to achieve something, just go for it. Really just go for it. Like Phil Knight said at Nike, go for it. Did I quote the right guy? I hope so.
Just
Jeez.
do it. Just do it.
Just
Or
do it.
do it. Just do it. Do it.
We
Do it.
just
Do
do
it.
it. I knew I was close. After I said it, I'm like, that's not what he said. He said, just
now,
do it. Yeah, just do
now,
it.
now we're gonna make it even shorter. Just do it, because like everything now with the everything is short. Everything now is trending. Everything is short.
Yeah.
Even with the kids, we both have kids, but they just all the language that they speak, everything is short and
Yeah.
technology. So,
Yeah. Well, not even
um,
short language, it's letters, it's abbreviations now.
LOL, MLI,
Yeah.
yeah, I get that all the time. So yeah, well, let's just do it. Just do it. I love it. But what about any networking groups or organizations besides WoW? Obviously, thank you so much for
Well,
being
yeah,
always, always with WoW and supportive of WoW.
admittedly, I don't do WoW as much as I used to. It's just,
But
I
it's hey,
swear, it's nothing personal. It's just
yeah,
every
yeah.
Wednesday, whenever I always have something. I
It's all
always have
good.
something. There's,
But
there's
thank you so
another
much.
one. Yeah, there's another group, similar with just like a couple of friends that started.
Yeah,
And I haven't been to that one in probably twice in the last year, but not really. I've gone to like, some of the BNI things, and I just never really have locked and latched onto a networking group. And frankly, and not to sound arrogant or cocky, I have so many contacts that I exploit that are such high level contacts through the years that I've achieved that I just
right.
reach out directly to the decision makers. And that's how it all's been happening. I
It,
just reach out to people
but
and it works.
that's networking itself. You just
Yeah.
started at when you were 10.
Yep. Exactly.
And you would start
Yeah.
it till 10. So it
Yep.
started networking, but you didn't realize it. But that, to your point, it takes a long time, and people don't realize that, especially when they start a business or start something new. But it helps to have that network.
Yeah.
If you don't have that network, it's not going to work. I mean, it's
But
going to work, but
yeah.
it's gonna take a lot longer. It's going to take a lot. It's going to be a
Right,
lot.
just through all the different jobs, and especially at the Stern Show, you were exposed to a lot of people, and it wasn't just the people that were on the show. Then you're dealing with the publicists and the publishers and the PRP, all these different levels of business people and businesses, and some of these contacts became friends and lifelong friends. That my friend who's a bigwig over at Conagra, we're lifelong. We've been friends for 30 plus years, and if I need something, I wouldn't go to anyone but him to open up doors, either at that company potentially, not that I have done that, or he had, through one friend, he knows everyone,
Mm.
So it's like that's the networking. It's direct networking, I would say. It's not a networking
But
group, it's my network.
but but I like the way you say it. It's like almost like an ATM, right? Whenever you need money, you go to the ATM. So
Yeah,
whenever you need money, you go to your network.
yeah, yeah.
You make that, to your point, you could just make that simple phone call and say, hey, you know, just pitch them an idea,
Yeah,
and that's
and,
it.
and going back to your other question, probably the most important thing, and again, it might sound cliche, is that I was always nice to people, and I always treated people very respectfully, like I treat anyone that I meet. You know
Yeah,
this.
of course. Yeah.
I don't have an attitude, don't have an ego. There's no reason to,
No.
and I just treat people with respect, and people remember that, and they appreciate it, and it works. Like if you need something from someone that you met a year or two ago, they're going to remember. If you were an a-hole, they won't even get a reply. But if you were
Right.
nice and kind and respectful and appreciative and
100%.
ask questions about them, not just make it about you. It's a two-way street when you have conversations. And sometimes people just make it, they're so caught up in themselves. The first thing I always ask people, tell me about you, tell me about your family, tell me about your kids. Let's talk about you before you get to me. Like, even if it's a call where someone's calling me, I want to know about you. And I
Right.
think that really is important.
And yeah, no, and listen, I always respect. Take the when I call you, you always pick up. So thank you so much. I
Of
respect that.
course.
As a
Yeah.
friend.
I mean, I'm practicing what I preach.
Yeah,
You're
you
very,
are. Yes.
yeah.
So thank you for that, Doug. I could vouch for that. I could definitely vouch for
Yeah.
that. So tell us about your company, Doug. So tell us about does Good Media.
Yeah, Dozgood Media is my name, Doug Z. Goodstein. And I was like, it's like people would say to me, it's funny. People say, oh, he does such good work. And I'm like, and one day it just clicked. I'm like, does good. Those are my initials. So I was like, I had a different production company name before, which I changed now to it was to this company, Dozgood Media, Dozgood, one
Yeah,
word, Dozgood Media.
that's good.
We do any and all kinds of production. Like I said, I have a parking garage company in New York City. I have these two huge healthcare systems, some of the biggest in the country. We work with financial companies. We work with charitable organizations. We just did a campaign for the Jesse Gerhardt Memorial Foundation, which is now close to my heart. It's probably the biggest and the most important organization to me that I love working with. And really anything. I mean, we really do content for anyone and any kind of niche.
But
And that's what's important. I can do it because I did it. And it does go back to the Stern Show years, because it wasn't just a radio show that we put on TV. We did everything, every genre. We did, game show, talk shows, um, whatever, sporting events. We did interview shows. We did social media content. We just everything, and it just really opened up my diversity to be able to create any kind of piece of content. So if someone comes to me and say, can you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can do it because I've done it."
and you have evidence.
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
all that stuff. So you were behind producing all those stuff. It takes a lot of outside the box thinking to do a lot of the stuff that you've done, and
yep.
to do it on the fly and to do it on
And that's the key, on the fly. I know how to do content really well, high quality, and very cost effective. Not that I'm cheap. I don't want to say, I don't want to be known as the guy who does cheap videos. I do good quality videos.
quality.
I know that it's
The-
a lot of fluff and a lot of BS that a lot of companies will charge people when it's not necessary. Oh, we need a team of 20 people. I could do almost any kind of video with like a team
Yeah,
of 5 people or less and do it just as good as someone with $1 million budget. And I could do it for like probably a tenth of the cost.
yeah, I seen your work and it's fabulous. Now it's award winning, right? Am I mistaken?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some
you've done
awards along the way.
some of them, So
Yeah,
anyway, but no, the quality is amazing. You do good quality, and I mean the
thank you.
amount of experience that you've had, that you bring to the table to make it, to make it more accessible for these companies where it wasn't. You come on, you were working with Peter Jennings and all these other people, great people, and now you have the accessibility of your experience. I mean, why wouldn't they want to not hire you?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. We have I have a solution for everything. There's never ever, I say there's never a problem. There's only a solution.
right. So thank you for sharing the story, Doug. And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, my newly created website is one way that a guy named Juan Vides has just recently redone because I didn't update it in 4 years.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you on the
it's
spot.
dozgoodmedia.com is one way, and then
Okay.
info at Dozgood Media. That's info at DOZGOOD media.com.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your story. And if you want to be a guest on Winning on Wednesday, just go to our website, winningonwednesday.com, and sign up as a first time guest. And we hope to see you there. Thank you so much, Doug. And thank you. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan.
Yep.
Appreciate it.